So in today's episode, we're going to talk about why and how I laid my brand new Can-Am intentionally on its side with my kids in it. Holla holla.
What's up, HP?
Told you that's my intro.
In
Holla
the,
holla.
his house. That's mine.
You're about as gangsta as
I'm about as old. I think we're showing our age every time I say that. But you know what? I like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. We've had an interesting past couple of weeks. It's been pretty fast. I think living life at a faster pace, which is, I don't know. It was actually kind of fun, to be honest. And
We've kept our schedule full.
Our schedule was full. Yeah. And it's awesome that we have the choice, right? We've created the ability to have the choice each day, how we're spending our time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's awesome. And we definitely have our seasons where we're intentional, right? More intentional about being parents and being in a position of leadership with our team, mm-hmm. and mentoring, coaching, all the things. But we set a slower pace for ourselves for a season, don't you think?
Yeah, almost too slow.
Yeah, it was almost too slow. And it was very intentional. It wasn't like we just all of a sudden were like, whoa, what happened? It was an intentional kind of like checking yourself like, are we going at the pace that we really want to be at?
No.
The answer was like, yeah, no.
That 1 year felt like 10.
Yep. It was more like 2, I feel like.
Yeah.
It was a gradual thing.
We don't like that pace. I don't want to do that pace no more.
Yeah. Because you're either growing or you're
Well, no, there's
not.
Just so much more you can get out of life,
mm-hmm.
when you fill your schedule.
Yeah. From our past event, Level Up, we had the pleasure of hearing our 2 friends, Doug and Tia's 2 daughters on stage. And mm-hmm. one of them, I think it was Amaya, maybe. I might have that wrong, but she said how her parents, our friends, had, they got a little complacent. They went a little slower for a season, and they told them, hey guys, like, you don't have to do that for us. Like, you need to get back out there. You need to
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so crazy though, because a lot of times we confuse ourselves into thinking that we're doing things for our children, when in reality, we're more just doing it for ourselves sometimes,
Yeah.
So kind of hearing that was powerful, but also feeling how great it felt to kind of come off of that event and actually relax. Like, I think both you and I realized, right? Like, it felt way better to relax and have a day off when you
actually did
exert it yourself.
Yeah. You actually checked off some big boxes and moved the dial forward.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's a good point, because in the past, we had trouble relaxing or taking time because we felt guilty because we weren't doing shit. We weren't doing anything to so-called deserve it, right?
Right.
And we both felt that way too, because when we relaxed after that big event and doing some other things that we were doing, launching this podcast and other things, we were like, it felt good to relax. Like, I actually could relax, mm-hmm. because we were actually getting some things done.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, oh, that feels deserving.
You're fulfilling a purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Putting yourself out there. And so as we're gaining momentum back, we also have been still very intentional about guarding our boundaries, right? Making sure mm-hmm. that we're still showing up for our kids. And just because you level up in your actions doesn't mean that everything goes by the wayside. We're still working out. We're still taking care of our health.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I think one of the other things is that when you decide to level up in life and you decide to start moving against your feelings and doing power to pivot, all the great things, is that it's good to also have some rewards, like mm-hmm. intentional rest, maybe some family little trips. One of the fun things we did earlier in this year, and it was only a couple of days. It was like a weekend, I think, right?
What we did
is you scheduled that quick little trip to Moab.
Oh yeah.
We've never been to Moab, and we went and saw the arches, and that was so cool. And then
we went rappelling.
Me and the
girls went rappelling. Scared to death. I didn't think the oldest was going to do it. Mila was kind of our middle one. She was just kind of in the zone. She's just going to go with it. But
she internalizes everything.
But Sabella she was getting nervous, but I'm proud of her. And then after it was done, then they wanted to do more of it.
Yeah.
That was a cool experience. So did some rappelling.
Yeah, we did some rappelling.
And then swimming.
Coaching the kids through that was really powerful too, because Mila is our one that internalizes everything, and we have to like pull things from her when she's feeling things. We have to try and pull it out of her. And then Sabella's our one that externalizes everything, and we have to like kind of like be like, wait, what is real here? What do we have to work through? And she was to the point of tears. Yeah. So scared, right?
Yeah, close.
But she allowed you to coach her through that, you know, which was really fun. And some other little family rewards. Recently, you also bought a Can-Am, right? And that's been...
I think we're always challenging
a short and sweet
their emotions, yeah. Maybe they have PTSD now from driving.
I do.
I think I do too. I don't care.
Let's tell them, Harold.
Yeah. So, so we're always looking for things to do, and just with the kids, just to have fun, just to create experiences. Yeah. And it's, you know,
because even, let's face it, even our like, oh, we haven't been working so hard level, to be honest, is a higher level
than what we used to. Than the day to day.
And for a lot of people, you know. So we still are very intentional about taking rest and reaping the rewards of our efforts and having rewards. So
So rewarded myself with a Can-Am, or us with a Can-Am, a side-by-side. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's like a 4-seater, kind of like I call them like a desert, I don't know, dune buggy thing or something. I don't know. It's one of those desert crawlers. They're pretty fast, pretty fun. And we got one, actually they ripped out the back seat, and I got a custom 3-seater in the back so we can fit all the big kids in it.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. And we got it decked out to where it's got a rack on top with gas fuel cans and spare tires. And we got an ice chest mounted to the back. We got another compartment mounted on the back for storing stuff. And I can put my guns on there and go shoot it up. And it's ready to go. It's got a nice sound system. Like, it's decked out. And the point of me saying this is it took 6 months to get this thing because of just the, inventory and shipping, and I couldn't wait to get it.
It's going to be so awesome.
So we went, I think it was March 1st or 2nd. I don't know now what day, but we went down there. I finally went down there. I wrote the check, paid for it, cash. They delivered it 4 hours later, or 2 hours, something like that. They delivered it like after lunch. We took it out, had a good time.
You took your mom in it first.
Took my mom. My mom was in town. Scared the heck out of her. That's a cool video. She was screaming. She sounded like Fred Sanford because she had some heart surgery not too long ago. And she started sounding like Fred Sanford when she's driving.
Give us a little interpretation.
I have to post that video. It was pretty funny. And Sabella was laughing in the background. So that was encouraging me.
Her country twang.
So that was encouraging me. So I started going faster.
Wait. She ends it with, "Oh, Lord, let me turn this off before I start cussing."
Yeah. So we did a donut, did a cool little donut. And I said, "Oh, that's cool." So then I think a few hours later, the other kids came home, the younger ones. So they were all excited, Stellan and them. So we went for a ride. And I took them on the same course, did the same donut, except this time you were with me and not my mom. And the younger kids were with us. And 4 hours later, after buying this thing and waiting 6 months, I put it on its side.
Yeah, and I told you would. I told you, I knew you would. And we were coming up to that turn. I was like, don't you do it. Don't you? Because I got PTSD from my 3 wrecks. For those of you listening, I mentioned in our Power to Pivot podcast that I've wrecked 3 cars. So I knew, I sensed it. It's like my spidey senses. I know when a car is going to wreck.
It's too top heavy.
There's something wrong with the driver.
There's something wrong with it. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Something wrong with the Can-Am.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's too top heavy. I'm
going to argue this point with you.
we got to investigate the situation. Yeah. Because it wasn't operator error, I don't think. It might have been operator error. I don't know.
Like, even yourself admitted prior to hit record, I think, of this podcast that you might need some lessons driving.
I don't know what you're talking about. Deny.
Yeah. Danny and TJ know.
I just need some hours under operation. So anyway, we laid it on its side.
I got a little scratch
I will say
on my arm.
No scratch. I think it's a freckle you
Look.
just newly discovered.
It's right there.
That's not a scratch from my driving. She
It's
was
like a
all
brush burn.
harnessed in. We had perfectly fine. The kids had helmets on. I think we were going 30 miles an hour. And it was like slow motion. It was like riding like the Dukes of Hazzard on 2 wheels on its side. Like, woo. I was trying to hang on the side to tip it back. Anyway, boom. It laid gently. It actually was gently that it laid on its side. It was like slow motion gently. It's just a big beast. It's a big machine. I don't know. Anyway,
I don't know about that.
So I ran all the way home, got the Tahoe.
Well, in between that, let's talk about the power of friendships too.
Oh yeah. So first I called the dealership and I tried to get them to come. They didn't pick up the phone.
They don't care about
made
us.
that sale. They done with that shit. So then I called my neighbor who's a professional, like that's what he does. Actually,
What kind of
GMC
racing
contracted
is that?
him. He's a world champion for GMC and Moab racing and that. He's in freaking Mexico. So he couldn't come help me. So it was like, 2 hours, hour and a half to dark.
Mm-hmm.
So I called another friend of mine and he was bringing a cavalry.
Mm-hmm.
And he was bringing everything to come, a team of guys. He was bringing everything to make it happen. And then something in me said, you know what? I'm just always wanting to get things done myself if I can and not bother people. But I put the call out there because I had my kids sitting there and they didn't have shoes on because they were just going for a ride.
They didn't plan to get
So
flipped.
I ran all the way home, got one of our vehicles, drove it back with some raggedy straps that we had. And some kind of way I wrapped it around and flipped it back on its side. And it was funny because when we got home, I called my friend and told him he was halfway there and thanked him and whatnot. And that was pretty cool. But we got home and my mom knew that we rolled it on its side. So she's like, oh my God, I knew he was going to do that.
Yeah.
She knows me growing up. I go hard on everything. And Stellan walks in the house and she goes, oh, you okay? What happened? He goes, it was fun. We just rolled it over. And he kept running through the house like nothing happened. And then Sabella comes in. Oh my goodness. And I had to call all her friends. She was so excited. I was like, see, that's experiences.
It was adrenaline.
That's experiences.
Yeah, I don't know if we want
That's
to always
stories.
have.
See,
that.
my whole life's full of stories like that. Because
Well-
I always was flipping and crashing and blowing things up.
And
So,
shooting people with BB guns. And
I didn't shoot nobody no BB
I'm
gun.
pretty sure you told me you did.
No, he stepped in the way of the BB gun.
Oh my
That's his fault. Can't fix stupid.
That's his fault. That I pulled the trigger.
He's
Right
just
when
a
you-
line of fire of a BB gun. You don't walk in front of it. You stay
Dang.
behind. I tell you what, taught him a lesson. Bet you don't step in front of guns no more.
Did it teach you a lesson?
That's good. Yeah.
Well,
So
you know,
anyways.
learning from your mistakes. From me watching that, actually, you know, so celebrating the wins.
You were
This
the
was
biggest baby of them all.
this
the kid
is a huge
jumped
win.
out. You was still
No.
paralyzed sitting there. Like,
I've got
traumatized.
PTSD. I've been in a lot of wrecks. And I was strapped in this thing and I'm on the side that's like on the ground. I'm like, where am I going to go? I don't know. I was worried about the kids. So whatever, hush. But I have to say, navigating or watching it from my side was actually interesting to see how the kids reacted to it. Like, while you were running through the desert, worried about us and getting us home.
I had to run a
and,
mile.
Like, oh, poor baby. Run a mile. Come on. No, I'm proud of you because you ran through
through
the
the
wash.
wash,
Yeah.
down and up a mountain.
That wasn't easy.
I still
And-
got scars.
Yeah, you're just lucky you didn't have to run back. So that was good.
Mhm.
But the kids were not worried about the Can-Am at all. They were worried about you. They were
Mm.
worried about how you felt. And it
Yeah,
just made
'cause it
me
was brand
so
new.
proud of them as a mom, watching our oldest, our 13-year-old, get emotional because she felt bad that you wrecked your Can-Am on the first day. And then she was worried that your mom was going to make you feel bad about it.
Nah.
And she was worried that she's mom don't, and she's telling me, Mom, don't make him feel bad. I was like, I would never make it. I was like, believe me, he feels bad enough about it already.
Yeah.
You know.
Then she saw me smiling when I drove off.
Mhm.
And she was like, oh, good.
Yeah. And she's like, I love him so much. She felt so bad. And then of course Stellan too, he's like, oh, I feel so bad for daddy. Like nobody wanted to rub it in your face. And I think that's a huge thing in celebrating wins as a family sometimes, yeah, you know what? It looks like taking a weekend trip to Moab. Sometimes it looks like buying some cool new toy that all of you can enjoy as a family.
You drive it like you stole it.
But other times it looks like actually, staying together and being supportive in the mess too. Like, learning from your mistakes, but then also watching how other people support you through the mistake too, is really huge. I have to say, as a mom, it does concern me a little bit that they found it so exciting.
That's right. They're adrenaline junkies like me.
I'm like, let's get them in another extracurricular real quick so they have a way to channel this energy, or this need for speed.
Yeah.
But
well, they got back in yesterday and went.
Oh yeah.
But I did notice a little PTSD because when I was going over that big hill, they wanted to get out.
We got out.
No, that second one when Samantha was like, "Oh no," and I said, "Let me look." I looked. I assessed and I said, "We got this." Mm-hmm. And she trusted me and we went down it and it was good.
Yeah.
So that's good that they got back in. And, but I can tell,
Yeah. And then I have to say too, you navigate it. Well, I told you, I was like, you should just send it back and get it repainted,
Oh no.
So there's been a lot of lessons
I just expedited the scars that it was going to get over time anyway.
Well,
it was 2 years of damage I got done.
I want you to have your new Can-Am, your new feel to it for a little bit longer. And the fact that we were able to even say that, like you literally, had this custom made, spent more on it than what is the typical sticker price, right? Just got it. And one of the things is, I think to credit that is that we made the decision a long time ago to get out of financial, oppression, let's say that, or just barely getting by. And because we did, I don't think people often actually want to get angry at each other when they make these mistakes that cost money. I think they're in that place. And you mentioned it. You said how cool it was that if you wanted to, you just write the check, right? Yeah. And you didn't have to feel so bad about we want to take care of our things, right? We don't want to just be reckless with it, but things happen. But I didn't feel bad about it. One for you. I felt bad for you because how embarrassing. Jeez, you wrecked your Can-Am on the first day. But
just going hard, driving like grandma.
But neither of us were like, I can't believe you just spent all this money on this thing.
The kids will never forget that either.
They won't. That's true. Remember the time we survived the great crash of 2020?
Jesus. Wait till we get out in the desert. You don't have a clue what's coming.
It could have been bad.
No, but that's lessons you're teaching them too. Because I remember when I would, remember when you backed our car into our own car in the driveway and it was $700 damage. It was like, how we're going to pay for this?
I guess I've had more than 3 wrecks.
An argument and it was stressful. It was
really stressful.
And
how much was that scratch? The second time that I did it?
It was like $700.
Okay, hold up. We'll tell the cliff note of this. We had a lease and we were leasing it through our small business, right? And it literally had to be turned in that week. And I backed the lease into one of our our Honda Accord. Mm-hmm. And he fixes it. He's like, just in time, everything's okay. We turn it back in. Then we get our new car, a Honda Pilot, brand new. And I backed that car into the Accord also.
Yep.
And how much were they? Do you remember how much they were that time? I think it was like literally a scratch on the bumper.
Yeah, like $700.
$700, yeah. And a lot of arguing and fighting.
We fixed the first one, and
he goes, "I'm not fixing this one."
Nope, it's a brand new car. Yeah. Anyway, but that's the difference, though. That's the difference of what we're teaching our kids now. They were so young then, so they really don't know.
No.
But today, like with that Can-Am, that's a lesson to show them. It's just things.
It's just things.
It's just freaking things. Mm-hmm. And I'd heard a story like that from a friend of mine. He was talking about a mentor of ours he's very well known, the guy I'm talking about. And our friend spilled wine on his rug, and it was probably a very expensive rug. I would imagine tens of thousands of dollars. And our friend was so distraught, like, "Oh my God, so sorry." He was so embarrassed. And our mentor said, he was just so calm. He's like, "It's just a rug.
Yeah.
It's just things." And we couldn't conceptualize that at the time.
Because we worked so hard to have
we worked
anything.
so hard and probably bought things that we shouldn't have been buying at the time that we couldn't cash the check for. Paying over time, so you're still paying on it. So yeah, you get stressed out because you ain't even finished paying for the damn thing.
Right.
So there's so many lessons in that. So I do, good experience for the kids, but also a lesson. See, that's why I flipped it.
That's why you flipped it?
I wanted to flip it. I said, there's a lesson that I could unpack right here.
Just he did
to
this.
show them.
You did this just for a podcast topic.
That, exactly.
Wow. All right, money bags.
Yep. Think in the future, act in the now. That's right.
I knew there was a reason behind it all.
Yep.
But we learn lessons from our mistakes. And so even though, we didn't navigate, say, me backing up a car into our other car twice within a 2-week time span, we didn't navigate that one so well. But even so, I learned a lot from that. One, that happened because I was always late. And I was always late getting to work because I never got up on time. Yeah. And I didn't get up on time because I always stayed up too late. Yeah. And I didn't hear the beeping on the car trying to tell me I was about to back into something because I had the music too loud and I was in a rush and I was texting people that I was going to be late. Yeah. And so I learned a very valuable lesson that sometimes we should feel bad about some things so we can learn to change it, Yeah. I obviously used to not have the best driving record for a reason.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'm not fixing a Can-Am, so.
Well, I'm glad I
took inventory. It's about because that stuff's expensive on those things. They get you for all this made in China plastic stuff. It's like probably about $1,000 of damage, but I'm just not fixing it.
Well, I said yesterday when we went for that little ride, I was glad you didn't because you started driving through desert shrubbery and screeching and scratching the door. I'm like, yeah.
Oh my God.
It's probably best that you don't get a paint job. On it.
No.
You're totally gonna.
So what other experience we did with the kids? We did hot air balloon.
Hot air balloon.
They did that. They liked that. Oh, we crashed. See that? Even a professional.
More crashing.
We crash landed in a hot air balloon. Oh. And I wasn't driving, but I'm telling you,
and they
we
loved
flipped
that experience
it. It flipped
too.
over and it drug, and the kids were all like holding on to their heads, and we were squashed down on the bottom of the basket, and they loved it.
This is scaring me now.
Daddy.
What does this say about our children? Do they have like a need for speed and adrenaline or something? Like what is going on here?
They go with me. Things going to be interesting.
I'm scared.
Maybe dangerous, but it's going to be interesting. So yeah.
See, you push me out of my box with things like that. Like I will never volunteer myself for something like high speed, kind of scary, physically scary, like bungee jumping, whatever. Like I'm not saying I'm going to do that, so don't get any ideas. But I will typically follow you for some adrenaline. But I will never just be like, hey, let's go do this super crazy thing. No. But I think that's actually a beauty to our dynamic. I think I bring you some stability and structure, and you bring me some fun and craziness, and you do that for our kids too. Which, yeah, again, it makes my mommy head like a little worried sometimes, but it is the things they remember, doing different things, having different experiences, and then teaching them and teaching ourselves how to navigate things when things don't go quote unquote as planned, as if nothing. Newsflash, things don't go according to your plan often.
Well, what we're about to do, I just got a tent, so we're going to go camping, me and the girls, on top of that mountain behind us. It's called Skull Mesa. We're going to go do that. It's about a 3-hour hike to the top. And
didn't you say round trip? It's about 13 miles?
It's a half marathon round trip.
Half marathon, yeah.
So we'll probably go do that. They'll like that. I just got to watch the wind because the other night we were supposed to go and I canceled it. And good thing I did because the wind was so bad. I think the tent would have blew away. That would have been a great experience.
No, that would not.
That would have been awesome. We'd have been surviving for the night. It would have been a story for the decades.
I don't know about you.
Yes.
With my kids?
Yes, I could tell you some camping.
See, in those situations,
stories.
Those are my kids.
Man, I could tell you some stories. Yeah. No. So anyway, we'll be doing that soon. That'll be a good experience. Hopefully things go smooth.
Yeah. And I don't find y'all sleeping on the top of the mountain under the stars in just a sleeping bag or something. I don't know. I don't know why that makes me nervous.
We'll be fine. We'll be fine. So yeah.
So moral of the story. Can-Am, wrecking it on the first day, second ride.
What's the moral of the story?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
No, have fun with your stuff you buy.
Learn lessons from your mistakes.
Yeah, that's what we're doing with this podcast right now.
I don't
Just making it revolve around the crashing of a Can-Am.
I don't know.
Is that what you're trying to do
We talked
here?
about it a lot.
Yeah, no, it was just it was fun. Kids enjoyed it.
Our brains are so different.
Yeah.
You just see fun. I'm like, how can we not do that again?
Yeah.
No. So celebrating the wins, creating adventure, and when mistakes happen and things don't go as planned, you make the best of it, right?
No, but that's why
Because
you
what
work
else is
hard.
there to do?
You work hard to create the experiences, and I think that was the gist of it. Was we were always feeling guilty about not taking time off because we weren't in pursuit of anything. So it's like when you actually are pushing hard and you start acquiring these things and you start acquiring and creating experiences and that, it feels good. And then your kids starting to witness that hard work pays off, and they start to witness that things are just things. So if you do damage them or break them, there's a whole lot of stuff wrapped up into this, actually.
Yep. It was definitely a nice little story. And I'm glad I survived with my scratch.
Your scratch, your newfound freckle. So anyway, that's a wrap.
That's a wrap, friends. We're the Freedom Parents, and we believe that you deserve to live the life that you desire.